Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're here, it probably means you're getting ready to become a Certified Exceptional Student Education Teacher, or ESE teacher, in Florida, and you are in exactly the right place. Today we're going to crack the code on the FTCE ESE exam. We'll cover everything from what it looks like to exactly how to study for it. So let's jump right in.
Let's start with this right here. I love this quote because it sets the perfect tone. This isn't just about passing a test, right? It's about launching a career where you can truly make a difference, where you can be in a class all your own. Let's hold on to that positive energy as we go.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the big picture, your path to getting certified. Then we'll decode the test itself, get into the 6 core areas you need to know, lay out a step-by-step study plan, cover some killer strategies for test day, and finally, get you started on your journey.
Okay, first things first, your path to certification. Now, it's really easy to see this exam as just another hurdle you have to jump over. But let's try to reframe that. This isn't a hurdle. It's the very first foundational step toward an incredibly rewarding career.
So what is this exam really? Well, simply put, the FTCE ESE is the test you have to pass to get your professional teaching certificate in Florida for exceptional student education. The whole point is to make sure that anyone stepping into an ESE classroom has the essential knowledge they need to support their students right from day one.
All right, now let's pull back the curtain and decode this thing. Once you understand how the test is built, it becomes a whole lot less intimidating. So let's break down the numbers.
So you're looking at 120 scoreable multiple-choice questions. And I want to emphasize that these aren't just trivia questions. They're designed to see if you can think like a teacher and apply what you know to real-world situations, not just remember a bunch of facts.
And how much time do you get? You've got 2.5 hours. If you do the math, that gives you about 1 minute and 15 seconds for each question. That tells us that pacing is going to be super important. You have to keep a steady rhythm to get through everything. So, what's the magic number? Well, to pass, you need to get roughly 71% of the questions right. That comes out to about 85 correct answers. Now, to give yourself a little breathing room, a confidence booster, we always suggest aiming for a bit of a cushion. Shoot for 75%, or 90 correct answers on your practice tests.
Now this right here, this is key. Every question has 4 options, but here's the absolute golden rule. The most important part of this slide, there's no penalty for guessing. You do not lose points for wrong answers. So what does that mean? It means you never, ever leave a question blank. It's always better to take your best shot.
Okay, let's get into the real meat and potatoes of the exam, the 6 core competencies. This is the stuff you actually need to study and know inside and out.
Take a good look at this chart, because this is basically your secret weapon for studying smart. See those top 3 sections, Foundations of ESE, Multiple Literacies, and Instructional Practices? Add them up, and that's nearly 70% of the entire test. Knowing this tells you exactly where to focus the bulk of your study time.
And here's that same information laid out in a table. Think of these 6 areas as the complete toolkit for a new ESE teacher. Foundations is the biggest piece of the pie because it's all about the laws and ethics that protect students. The others are all about the how. How to assess students' needs, how to actually teach, how to manage classroom behavior, and how to get them ready for what comes after school. This is the stuff that matters most.
Okay, so you know what's on the test. But the big question is, how in the world should you actually prepare for it? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Let's walk through a proven 6-week study plan that takes all the guesswork out of it.
This plan is all about studying smarter, not just harder. See how it starts? Week 1, you take a diagnostic test. Why? To find out where you're already strong and where you're weak. Then, for the next 2 weeks, you hammer away at those weak spots. Week 4 is a big refresh. Then, week 5, you check your progress with another practice test. And that final week, you retake that first test to see just how far you've come. It's a fantastic confidence booster right before the real thing.
All right, you've put in the work, you've studied hard, but the game isn't over yet. Now we need to talk about game day strategy. How you perform on the day of the test is just as important as how you prepared.
So, before we get into the tips, a quick pop quiz for you. To avoid making a simple, silly mistake, what's the #1 thing you should be looking for in every single test question?
And the answer is limiter words. I'm talking about these sneaky little words like best, not, least, or except. They can totally flip the meaning of a question on its head. So the big takeaway here is to just slow down. Read every word carefully. I promise you, this one simple habit can save you a bunch of points. I love this slide because it shows the huge difference between an amateur approach and a pro strategy. So let's avoid those common mistakes. No last-minute cramming, no getting stuck on one tough question, and absolutely no leaving answers blank. Instead, we're going to adopt the pro mindset. Study consistently, keep a steady pace, use process of elimination, and when in doubt, make that educated guess.
And finally, here's your morning of checklist. Get there early. You don't need that stress. You must have your admission ticket and 2 forms of ID. Make sure one of them has your photo and your signature. Dress comfy. Layers are a great idea. And most importantly, just relax. You've done the work. Take a deep breath. You are ready for this. We have covered a ton of ground. We've talked about the what, the why, and the how. But now it's time to talk about the most important part of all, actually beginning your journey.
Let's just pause on this for a second because this is so important. By simply committing to this process, by watching this, by planning to study, you are already on your way. You're taking that real, tangible step toward a career where you're going to change lives.
Look, we've given you the complete roadmap today. You know the exam structure, you know the content you need to master, you have a step-by-step plan, and you've got the strategies to succeed. The path is clear. The only thing left to do now is to take that first step.
So I want to leave you with this final thought to really get the ball rolling. Think about that very first competency, Foundations of ESE. It's the biggest one, and it covers things like federal laws and how to develop an IEP. So my question for you is, which of those skills are you most excited to really dig into and master first? Your journey starts right now with that answer. You've got this. Good luck.